Hello, hello, hello. Today we are reviewing for your test on solving equations. So we're going to be taking a test and we're going to practice our one-step, two-step, multi-step, variables on both sides, special cases where we end up with no solutions or all real numbers, and then also solving for a variable. All right, so let's begin our review. All right, this first problem says x divided by -3. And the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So the one step of work that I need to see is that you are multiplying both sides by -3. Then these 3's cancel out and we end up with x equals 5 times -3 is -15. If you are watching this video at home, then you should pause every single slide that we get to and you should do the problems on the slide and then resume the video so that you are practicing these problems because this is what your test is going to look like. So practice it and then see if you did it right by resuming the video and checking that out. All right, so this says -7 times x. The opposite of times is divide, so we're going to divide both sides, and you see I divided by a -7, not just a +7, but a -7. So these are a 1 and 1x, remember, we can just write as x equals, and 42 divided by -7 is a -6. All right, remember when we have a fraction in front of here, like 4/5, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, and the reciprocal of 4/5, just flip it so it becomes 5/4. 5/4. So these 5's become a 1, these 4's become a 1, so we really have 1x, and remember we can just write that as x equals. Now you can use your calculator and take 20 times 5 and divide by 4, or you can take 20 times the fraction 5/4. And what we end up with is 4 goes into 25 times, and 5 times 5 is 25. All right, the next problem that we see here is a two-step equation. So we have to move the 7 and the -2, and we are going to move the 7 first. And so because that is a +7, we are going to subtract by 7 on both sides. So 23, whoops, I should start here, minus 2x equals, and 23 minus 7 is 16. All right, now we have a -2 times x. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by -2. So x equals a -8. All right, work on these two and then come back to the video. All right, looks like we have variables on opposite sides here. So in this one, I'm going to get my x's together, and because they're on opposite sides, I'm going to do an opposite operation. And because I'm going to move the smaller number first, and 18 is smaller than 23, so this cancels out, and we're left with -7, and 23 minus 18 is going to give us 5x, and then we still have our plus 28. So now, how do we move that 28? And because it's a plus 28, we are going to subtract 28 from both sides. -7 minus 28 is -35. And then we still have our 5x. So this says 5 times x, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So -35 divided by 5 is a -7. So x equals -7. All right, in the next problem here, we got lots of w's, 2w, 4w, and a plain old w. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to combine this w with this W. Now, there's more than one way to do this. So before you go start erasing your work, just wait till we get to the bottom and see if you get the right answer. Alrighty? So 2W plus 4W is 6W minus 9 equals W plus 31. All right, so I got these W's together, but I still have the W on the other side. I still like to get my W's together. So because this is a positive W, this is 1W, and it's smaller than 6, I'm going to move minus 1W. So 6W minus 1W is 5W. All right, and because this says minus 9, the opposite of subtracting 9 is adding 9. So 5W equals 40. And that says 5 times W. The opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So W is 8. All right, so that was like terms on opposite sides, opposite operations, or like terms on the same side. So if they're on the same side, we just combine them. 2W plus 4W is 6W. All right, moving on. Alrighty, so what do we have here? Again, it looks like we have 7N and 4N are on the same side. So I get 11N plus 5. Oh, and over here this says 11N plus 5. So some of you know right now if the sides are exactly the same, that means that the answer is all real numbers. And you're going to have to type this in your test if we do anything online. If not, then it's just going to be, you just write all real numbers. Okay, some of you might keep doing work. So some of you might subtract 11N, and then you get 5 equals 5. It doesn't matter where you stop, as long as you can get that answer on all real numbers. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. All right, 3P plus 8, nothing to do there. But here we've got an 8P, and here is an 11P. So I'm just going to leave my negative 3P plus 8. And 8P minus 11P is a negative 3P, and then I still have plus 18. All right, so some of you right now can see what the answer is going to be. Some of you might need to go a little bit further. So if I want to move this P to this side, what happens is these cancel out and you have 8. These cancel out and you have 18. Does 8 equal 18? And the answer is no. So the answer that needs to be written is no solutions. No solutions. No number. We can't put any number in to make this work, so there are no solutions. All right. Ooh, looks like we have the distributive property here first. So 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times negative 5, don't forget about that negative, is a negative 20. And then we have 24x plus 40. Okay, I like to get my like terms together, and I like to move the smaller one first, and they're on opposite sides. So I'm going to do this opposite operation. Okay, these are going to cancel out. Don't forget that negative, so it's negative 20. And 24x minus 12x is actually 12x. Okay, now I need to move the numbers away from the x, and because that says plus 40, I am going to subtract 40, and make sure you use your calculator here. So we have negative 60 equals 12x. Now that says 12 times x, so the opposite of times is divide. So now when we take negative 60 and divide by, what is that, a positive 12, we get a negative 5 equals x. All right, so you can see where this one is a lot of work. It's only 1 point for the correct answer, but you had to distribute, that's 2 points. You had to subtract, that's 3 points. Subtract, that's 4 points. And divide, that's 5. So this is going to be a 6-point problem on the test, and only 1 point is the answer. So you can see how important work is. It's 5 points of work and only 1 point for the correct answer. All right, reviewing these properties here. Commutative is order. So if the order switches, x plus 9, 9 plus x, so this is the commutative property. 3 times 6x, when I start wanting to draw these arrows in, this is the distributive property. All right, we have 3 plus x first, and then we have 3 plus x at the end. See how 9 is at the end, now 9 is at the beginning. So this is switching the order of things, and order is commutative. All right, what does this say? 17, 23, 37. 17, 23, 37. So the order is exactly the same. We're just grouping them different. So this is the associative property. Okay, so order is commutative. All right, solving for the indicated variable. So they want us to get x by itself. Okay, to get x by itself, we're going to add 8. Add 8. And here's the tricky part. Y plus 8. We cannot combine them, so we just have to write y plus 8 equals 2x. Now, how do we get that 2 away from the x? Well, that says 2 times, so I am going to divide because we do the opposite operation. So this is a 1x, and remember that is just like writing x equals, and it's y plus 8. And notice this fraction bar goes over everything, not just the y, not just the 8, the whole thing, and divided by 2. So that's your final answer. All right, and then the second one over here, they want us to get w by itself. Well, that says L times w times h. Well, what undoes times is dividing. And what do we need to move away from the w? The L and the h. And remember, whatever you do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So v equals v divided by L and h equals w. All right, simplifying, combining like terms. So let's see here. This is the 4th power, 2nd power, 2nd power, 4th power. Okay, I can combine those. So 8 minus 2x is going to be 6. Keep the base, keep the exponent. All right, then we also have in here a negative 3x squared, another squared, and another squared. So I have 3 squareds here. All right, so negative 3 plus 7 is 4 plus 9. So we have a plus 13x squared. Let me just double check that. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4, and 4 plus 9 is 13x squared. All right, our last problem here, and I have about a minute. So if I'm hurrying at the end, it's because I only have a minute. So if 8x minus 15 equals 25, then find 4x minus 3. Okay, we need x. We need x. So what does x equal? Well, I'm going to add 15 and add 15. So 8x equals, and I believe that's 40. So that says 8 times x. The opposite of times is divide. So x is 5. Well, now that we know x is 5, we're going to replace this x with a 5. So we have 20 minus 3. So 17 is the final answer they are looking for. Phew, does I made it. All right, so that is your review for solving equations. Good luck on your homework.